We do get to look at ourselves. How lucky.
That's great.
There you go.
Well, of course, representing the USS Will Rogers, we're just excited here to be able to present to you a few of the things that we were able to present to our commanding officers that we hope to be able to implement to the entirety of this operation when it comes to implementing leadership and helping everybody take personal autonomy in everything they do in the most empowering way. And so we just want to backtrack a little bit, help you understand where we're coming from. Of course, I'm sure you're aware when we started, especially on that last mission, we had a lot of problems, especially when it came to leadership, in the regard that as we went forward, we had things prepared to help maintenance, but in the end, there became a level of complacency that kind of threw a lot of things off. And because of that, we had loose bolts in the engineering room and things like that, to the point where the whole mission, our sector, made it so that the whole operation had to go back and return to get those things repaired. And so what we want to talk about today has a lot to do with how we can empower the entire operation to be a little bit more self-empowered, to be able to do their very best when it comes to success. We want to distinguish a couple of things for everybody, that we realize that these stuff are serious. We have to get it done. We have to achieve greatness in the little things that, our lives are at stake under there, of course, in the submarine. The main thing is that we want to have the right type of people so that when they're in there, we don't have to be breathing over their necks, making sure they got every nut and bolt totally tight. We want to help them become those people, and that's success, having the right people. Those achievements will be simply manifestations. And so we believe through some of our habits, things we're prepared to be able to do that. But really, at the end of the day, we want to create those people.
Our goal is to bring decision-making down to the lowest competent level. Give everyone an opportunity to be a decision maker and create perpetual leaders, not just in our nuclear area, but in the whole submarine and submarines to come. This is not something we want to have just in our operation, but we believe it's something that can completely revolutionize how submarines are managed going forward. As previously mentioned, this is thousands, if not millions of dollars at stake, as well as people's lives. So we take it very seriously and ask the question, why change the commanding leadership style to this that obviously we had a small issue with? And it's because we believe overall it will be a bigger benefit than the commanding leadership style. Something that we noticed was our men were kind of grumbling when we first came in and changed up the way we did things. They were used to being told exactly day-to-day, word for word, how to do their job. And when their decision was up to them, they weren't exactly happy with it. This is something we want to change in transitioning from just our group to the entire submarine. What this looks like is pre-dive seminars. So I know we have a few days before we head down to the deep blue again. So our plan is to, one, hold a seminar for the entire submarine. This will get everyone on the same page and prepare them to not only be decision makers, but also to accept the responsibility that is the empower leadership model. So we'll have that seminar with the whole sub. And then on top of that, we'll have a seminar with just the chiefs of each department. Because the decision-making comes down to the very lowest level, they need to have some sort of report or accountability, not to necessarily to us, but to their chief officers, because we want to delegate responsibility. We're going to instruct these chiefs of what empowerment looks like and give them a pretty extensive training on what is expected of them. So when they break down their crews, they can come to us and we make sure that no loose bolt literally comes unhinged again.
And we realize that a great culture starts with the habits of the sailors on board. And I take inspiration from Mr. O'Neill over at Alcoa Incorporated in Pittsburgh, who his story is detailed in Charles Duhigg's book, The Power of Habit. He implemented in his workers what he called Keystone Habits, which were habits that, when implemented, influenced every aspect of his workers' lives. Most CEOs before him had focused solely on numbers, on profit and productivity. But he came in and he had a different approach. He focused on safety. And although safety and the success of the business did not seem too related, he noticed that as he implemented these safety habits among his workers, their morale and their productivity boosted, along with a 500% boost in profits. So in a similar manner, we are introducing a new emphasis on these keystone habits amongst our sailors here in the Marines. Among these habits would be regular maintenance with equipment, and this would include cleaning equipment at the beginning and the end of every shift. And as each chief takes over each shift at the beginning of the shift, they would ensure that all of these processes were taken out to the in their entirety. And we would also include a weekly council in which 2 questions would be at the forefront. This would be a habit amongst every division. And these 2 questions would be, were procedures followed this week? If not, why not? And what are some ideas on how we can perfect our processes? If history is any indicator, as we implement these habits amongst our sailors, we will see increased morale, we will see increased unity and increased empowered leadership.
We've got 2 things to remember here. We want to be green and clean. If you think about Stephen R. Covey, taught his son, I want you to do 2 things. I want my yard to be green, and I want it to be clean. You can do it however you want, and you can come to me and I'll help you. But at the end of the day, every Friday, we're going to walk the yard and make sure it's green and clean. In the same way, that's what we're talking about here. We want to be clean and organized. If we're clean and organized, we're preparing people with the habits that are going to make them who they need to be so that we don't have these fatal mistakes or things that could go wrong that way. And so every week, we've got our commanding officers, we've got our chiefs, everything like that. Whatever division you are over, every Friday, is everything clean and is it organized? You walk through. Accountability is huge, especially when it comes to extreme ownership. You take complete ownership for everything that you do. All the things you did good, all the things you did bad, all the good things your team did, and all the bad things your team did, you own it. And when everybody has that same attitude, we actually find the problems and we can get them solved. And before then, that can't happen. So 2 things, remember, maintain it clean, as well as keep it organized.
Now you may be asking, does empowerment leadership really work? Is it successful? Well, we don't think that it works. We know. We know that leadership is not about power, but it's about empowerment. Now let's walk back to maybe one of the most successful forms and successful examples of this leadership style that we've ever known. As we look back at the Revolutionary War, who won? Was it George Washington? No, it was the people. We the people. The Declaration of Independence, who wrote it? Thomas Jefferson? Benjamin Franklin? No. It was a group of exemplary men who all brought different ideas, different contributions and perspectives, and were able to come together to forge something greater than themselves. We know that this model is successful. Now let me ask you this. Was it by coincidence that all of these great men, some of the most prominent and exemplary leaders that America has ever seen, was it a coincidence that they all lived at the same time and that they were in the same place? No. It was the fact that they were provided an environment and had the attitude that they did to be able to achieve, that they had this environment that they knew what they believed was respected, and that they had a purpose to bring what they knew to the table. Moving forward, we know that we are descendants of these exact leaders. We know that we are the generation of this same legacy. So why have we stopped? Why have we stopped listening to these men at the bottom of the chain? Why have we stopped considering the ideas of some people that really have different perspectives that could help us grow? It's my responsibility to know how I can make sure that these men feel empowered, how I can know that these men are able to bring to the table. And so moving forward again, we know that we have sworn an oath as Navy SEALs. We know that moving forward, we are in charge with the responsibility to protect and defend America. And as we do that together, we rise. We know that through this empowerment model, we will achieve greatness because we are together. Through honor, courage, and commitment, we rise together to create and become more than we ever thought we could.
Thanks.